All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for September 13th, 2023. Had a nice 6 mile walk today at a brisk pace this morning and feeling pretty good. Um, we'll start with the hybrid swing portfolio. We'll catch up from yesterday, too, starting with Alcoa on the 30-minute chart. So today, took the COTA 2 entry with a standard risk. It closed at about zero point 0.5 in hand. Tomorrow will be the test. It has to break above today's high, which would also be the last time it tried, it failed. So we'll be ready to bail on that quick. But if it continues, it should get through all of this pretty fast. This is all, that's all gap. So the first place you really see any resistance would be up here. So if it can get through 28.75, 30 is in range. So I'm liking that as an opportunity for tomorrow. AI, no trade, although I must say that this is starting to be pretty tempting on the downside. That the failure of this little burst now makes this feel like a COTA 2 to the downside. And if so, the target would be down around 26. I could also see that as an SSC to the upside if it breaks out of today's range. So we'll see. I think the default is downward though. Amazon added a third position. This one is deep in the money. I don't want to jinx it, but right now we're holding. Whoops. With 1 unit of risk, we're holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the first one, 4 on the second one, and 2 on the third one. So we got about 11R on 3 positions. And really, if this breaks out, it's free and clear because that's a new 10-day high. See what that looks like on a longer basis. Yeah, that has cleared the last hump. Let's go out to 2 hours. Yeah, this is all good. 3 days. Yeah, I think this is really at a crucial level here. This is one of the reasons we like the 3 day. When you get that little COTA 2 on the 3 day, you can recover a lot. No, Amazon has been leading the way, and this was one I was willing to take a risk on. But you could, design your own rules and follow them. If it breaks above, it's ready to break out of the 155 and 160 and 180. This is such a tech leader that this is one that I am not worried about holding on to. Some pigs are more equal than others. George Orwell. Caterpillar. So we took a 2 position entry on the short side here today. This is one where you get a collapsing dragon an hour into the day. Nice tight wrist box. As it fails, you get 1, 2 in hand. That's a 2R battle drill. It sells off harsh, reverses, and comes up, and I take the exit there for 4 on the first one and 2 on the second one. So that's 6R, no overnight risk. Cliff, intraday 1R on the collapsing, or the supported fall crossing. Notice that it turns from summer to fall after the PSAR flip, and we're in the second bar of the day, so that felt reasonable. CVS initiated. So yesterday we had the gap and go, and took the nice exit at the dragon for 3R. And then today, this whole thing rolled over. You almost have a lower high and then a PSAR flip. So this was a speculative one on CVS, believing that maybe that was an irrationally exuberant move. So we're holding about +1 on that one. If this fails tomorrow, yeah, I think it could come down to 69. So there's a potential another 2R to the downside. If that fails, like if it gets below 68.50, that's not much support at all, and it comes back to 66 pretty quick. So this is really vulnerable. This exaggerated move is very vulnerable right here, and it was not very persuasive here. You would think that over the course of 2 full days, that if you were going to have any reinforcement to that move, you'd see it. So that failure to follow through feels instructive. Dish, this was a gap down. So yesterday we covered the short at the Dragon. Today was a gap down to here, and then a 1, 2, 3 entry with a standard risk. It worked pretty well, and holding +2. There's still room for it to come up and test 635, 6.35. So we'll see how that goes. Devon Energy took the intraday PSAR flip for 2R. EA, 1R on the Dragon exit after the COTA 2. Emerging markets, no trade. This one feels like it's wanting to go down because you've got descending highs. This little one, this was a legitimate short effort here, but I want to see it. It was so late in the day I didn't want to take it because of how gappy. Notice how gappy this thing can be. So we'll see tomorrow what it's going to do. If it breaks below 39, my inclination is to be short, especially if we see weakness in the U.S. market as well. So we'll know something early. Ethereum has been choppy and weak the last 2 days. If you're trading the actual currency, a breakdown below 11 or the equivalent of 11 on the currency is worth a shot to the short side. Mexico, sideways chop, no trade. Brazil closed the COTA 2 after the gap. So we had this one from 3 days ago. There was a gap and then an intraday COTA 2. So we took that one with the standard risk. It closed well. Today it rocketed up, and I just took the PSAR. Never really fully believed in that one. I don't know. So we'll just take 3 and go home. I feel lucky to have had that one. Intel. Yesterday we closed the COTA 2. Today it was a sideways chop. IP, this one was sweet. So we've experienced, boy, that's why I love the swing trade in this one. We have this big move down, a continuation fractional, the SSC reversal, massively good. And now we had this essentially a collapsing dragon and a descending triangle, if you look at it that way. This has been stable. When that breaks, it suggests this is our target. So I get most of it intraday. It has a little dragon exit. So I'm happy to take 4R out of that with no overnight risk. Further failure tomorrow is a re-entry. That was IP. IYR came out of the chop. PSAR flipped. The summer turned to winter right away. It didn't even go through the fall. It just converted quickly to the fall. To the winter, and a PSAR flip. So we took it short, standard risk. That's holding about 2.5R. It's testing the bottom here. This would have been a legitimate exit right there now that I look at it. I'm not so sure I want to hold this over the night, but I did. But if this continues to fail, that'll be a second position. Regional banks, no trade, looking weak. Mattel tried a intraday caught a 2 for a fraction on the dragon exit, didn't really follow through. McDonald's yesterday initiated an emerging dragon, by which we mean we've got rising lows. In this case, it broke above the R10 resistance, so that thing is free and clear. So yesterday we added with the standard risk. It held on today. I took the second leg exit at the dragon for about 3R. Merck missed the PSAR flip. Microsoft, I initiated the SSC. It closed pretty well for about an R. That's part of the upside in tech that's lurking. Marijuana, there was a COTA 2 available. I didn't get it today. And then it closed weekly. But it held above the support level. So, by which I mean it's holding above here. So today was a run up and a sell off, and it held right here. So on a continuation, I could see that it's really got to get above 880 and then above 9.25 to be any good. There may be a short-term trade inside here tomorrow, but failure below 8.25, and I'll be looking to be short that one. NVIDIA, I tried the intraday COTA 2 for a fraction, no follow through. Clean Energy, short on the supported winter crossing. You know, the fall turned to winter. Standard risk holding about 1R. Rivian missed the 2-day PSAR flip and supported fall crossing. It's now in the winter. It's already halfway down to 22 to the support level here. Call that the support level 2290. So a breakdown of here, that would be your first target short, second target short, 5-day low, third target short. So if you could put a tight stop on that if it breaks here, that could be a reasonable short tomorrow. The upside, if this holds and breaks above the PSAR flip, you actually have room to the upside. The S&P was a sideways chop. Treasuries, kind of sideways chop. Tesla, I tried the COTA 2 breakout. It went nowhere. Didn't want to hold it overnight. And then U.S. Steel, yesterday initiated the COTA 2, the collapsing dragon, I should say. So really I looked at all of this as a 3-part harmony here. And the declining pressure here, it feels like that downward triangle, and it broke. So, and it closed poorly. Today it continued, but it didn't really run amok south. Reversed, and I took the dragon exit for about 1.5. So pretty happy with all those today. All right, here's the sniper trade of the day, the intraday. This is a 3-minute chart. And here was yesterday's close, that bar. And today sets up an OR3 right here, an open. It runs up, it runs down, it runs up. It then rolls over and breaks down through here. So our entry is there, and there is our risk box. Standard risk. And we are short. Check or hold. All right, but you get 3 bars in a row. of movement in your favor. So really, by that time, your stop. If you're just following the PSAR, it's here. I think by this bar, you could be right there and lock in that much gain. You'd like to have locked in that no lose plus dinner for two. And because it closed all the way down here, it depends how much of this bar do you want to claim as yours. You might go to right here and claim some extra. Like you may decide you want all of that, and that would lock in. That's about 1R. So you wouldn't be nuts if you did that. I took the dragon exit for about 0.7. Oops. Sorry. So that's about a 0.7 win. Checker hold. That is a SSC entry with a standard risk box right here, right at the PSAR flip. It's getting in right at the PSAR dot as the R10 crosses the dragon, which is why I like that. I've adjusted that PSAR to a 0.14. I've gone from a 0.12 to a 0.14 acceleration factor. So when you get a nice move like this, the PSAR comes down and joins the edge of the dragon pretty quick, a little quicker, enough to make a difference. So we've got this as our entry, and we're looking to get back to, we're not allowed to be surprised if it gets back to here. If it gets north of that, then that's the first time that we feel safe and secure. So that makes this the tactical space. And all we're going to try to do in the tactical space is get our stop from here to no lose plus dinner for two. That's all we're trying to do, is get our stop raised up so that we eliminate our risk. And nothing, and it's basically just a timing stop following the PSAR. The dragon has rolled over. Gave it as much room as you could. Never materialized. So that's basically a scratch. This one is if you called this one a collapsing dragon, because it violated here, you get the R10 rollover, you get the PSAR flip, you get the dragon has rolled over, the RL30 has rolled over. This is an owl entry, and you could call that caught a 2 to the downside, or you'll notice it's the supported fall crossing. You're kind of front running this collapsing dragon anyway, so you could really think of this whole thing as a pocket entry. This area in here underneath the PSAR, but before the collapsing dragon, that whole area is a pocket. So I'm getting in at about halfway down, and that feels okay. Standard risk, it's already one full risk box off of the top. So I'm content to call that an owl. And because the first move of the day was down and the second move of the day only got halfway, it only got halfway back up before it started to fail, this feels like a downward day. So short here, standard risk. If it breaks below here, which is about, this is the 1R level. So if it gets below 0.5, I'm going to feel pretty good. No, I think it's too soon, to be honest. I would rather wait for the 2R on this one. The 2R entry would be down here. That's the 2R battle drill. I, you know, I could argue in favor of that, but what I really did, I think, was instead of waiting for the collapsing dragon, I just accelerated it and got short here already on a little less information. Could you? Yeah, you could. If you thought about this as, hey, what if I treated that as put half the position on and then the other half of the position on confirmation, then my average entry is right about here, and that's not bad. So as you're learning this pattern, I I wouldn't torture you if you did that. That's that's not crazy. Yeah. So in retrospect, if this one comes here, you never got the second position on in here, but when this rolls over and rejects, I could almost consider that one because now you have a lower high. But once again, when it breaks below here, what I'm really trying to do is simply get my stop down to about here by maybe by this time, because that way I can lock in. Um, if I drop my stop right here, then there's my no lose plus dinner for two, and then you could make a decision. Do I want to, or do I wait for the 2R battle drill? I waited for the 2R battle drill, but that whole way down, I'm thinking, man, I should have, could have. Not in any hurry though. Now, if you want to be aggressive, this is where you can now start thinking about being very aggressive. Because I want you to notice the, this little formation in here and the R10 wiggle. So during this period of time, it kind of chops around. It goes sideways while the PSAR is dropping down, but now, right here, it's voting to the downside. And you've got two positions in, and you've got plus 2.5R at this point, because you got about two and a quarter on this one, and this one has about a quarter, so you got about 2.5R. If you put a third position on there, maybe, I don't know. That's where I would start to feel aggressive, because you're not close to a range stat move to the downside yet, and it's just starting to move in your favor. And then if you had put this one in, then you got to get out like right here instead of here, so that this third position does not go negative. If you don't put that in, you could afford to let it come all the way up to the PSAR, because your second position is still in the money. So this one gets about maybe 2.5R. Trying another like a cotitude to the downside on failure to follow through. Collect another 1R. Seems like it's running out of gas. It's close to the afternoon. So that one gives a total, when all is said and done, about 5R potential. This is in real estate, IYR. All right, let's check the traders. What the heck? Stand by. Oh, I couldn't see where my drawing tablet was. There it is. All right, so this one doesn't work. He cuts it, reverses, gets paid, nets point 0.2. This third trade he realizes was not necessary. Trying to make it work too much. See, this one is on the 30-minute. You can see that one is kind of in the sweet spot. Amazon, he gets the re-entry. That pays off. 2 efforts on the short side. This might have been a little slow getting in, just a little bit. Where are we at? Yeah, so with the short here, we're kind of aligned the whole way. So this is where the noise on the 3-minute can get you out too soon. Yeah, and you reduce the loss a lot, but really the longer term trend is still down. That's what this is telling you. There just was not an explosive move on it. And sometimes you just got to be able to take maybe take a little bit more heat. I think that this rapid exit, if you were going to get short again, you should be right here instead of here, because you already have a lower highs and this rolled over. I think you can be short here, and then this may have saved a fractional loss. Wasn't a whole lot of wiggle room on that one anyway today. Devon showed a little better, and you made money on that one. All other things being equal, I would rather play. If I was going to play an energy company, I would rather play Devon is better than CVX. Just because it's a smaller cap and it is a little more volatile. Gives you stronger moves. Intel, we are just trading in the noise here all day. This is all noise trading. Yeah, and that scratches for the day. McDonald's, reasonable cash. There was a effort on the downside that was available. It's a 1-2-3 on the short side, and we might have been able to capture a little bit of that, but it's late in the day. I like that you did not chase. You got paid what little was there in Nvidia. It was not a big follow through. Apple continues to show weakness. It didn't fail though, and you got out of it quick. That's good discipline. This is for George. So, reentry is the key to sanity on all this. So, you get a large reversal. This is a great short. A large reversal, so you cash that. When that fails immediately, this is still the downward move. And, that's about 4R if you just take the standard dragon exit at a place where it finds support. So remember, re-entry equals key to sanity. This did not make you wrong. It just means that you get out of the trade. That's all it means. Intel, good effort on the short side. Good exit. Amazon, it did not follow through. I might have suggested a re-entry here because this was head and shoulders the best thing in the market, and it's already building on that kind of kata too. I'll be ready for this one tomorrow to go. So make that a priority. A couple shots on Walgreens. Normally the short side on that is a good trade. This is 2 times that it didn't, and it's actually showed one effort to the upside. This may be the bottom half of the cup, and I'll be ready to play kind of a washout pattern or an SSC tomorrow in both directions. Great job here. Almost 3R for Walgreens on the PSAR flip and Kata 2. Great exit at the edge of the dragon. Just notice the difference on the 30-minute chart. This doesn't look like much, but on the 3-minute or on the 10-minute, excuse me, that Kata 2 is massive goodness. How the changing of a time frame makes a difference. Good discipline here on Kroger's. We're on 5 minutes here, and then good discipline again on Fortinet. All right, so that's everything we got for today, guys. We'll get this published and processed. I added a 26-minute extract of my heart surgery prep and rehab process. Posted that on Patreon for you to consider. The graphics will get better on that, but I wanted to get the initial artifact and story out of my head and onto paper and into the atmosphere. So I've been invited to write a paper on that one for an upcoming conference. So I needed to start getting the drafts done. So take good care, and we shall see you tomorrow.